Okay. Ooh. Let's try that again. I think I finally figured it out. So picture in your mind's eye a spiral. When we're born, we're at the center of that spiral. As we get a little older, but not quite a teenager, we are our most authentic selves. Look at children, they have so much imagination, and they don't care who's watching. They're just being. They're just being themselves. And they have so many dreams. They believe in the fairy tale magic. And then life happens and starts to influence them. And it's usually not the best type of influence. Life starts to tell them that they're not good enough or they need to grow up or they need to change because maybe whoever's telling them that they need to change, they don't like what they're seeing. And so eventually, that child starts to wear masks to try to fit in, to be accepted. And so if you go back to that spiral, they're no longer in the center of that spiral because now they're changing and they're leaving their most authentic self. So as they get older, they're still trying to fit in because people just want to be accepted. And so they're moving further away from that center of the spiral. They're no longer their most authentic self. And so the further away you move from that center of the spiral, you start to the word I'm looking for is like accumulate. You start to accumulate karma. You're now resisting. You're running away from your true self. And you don't even realize it. And so now you find yourself lost. You find yourself in situations that maybe don't resonate with you. Maybe you start experiencing mental illnesses or physical illnesses. And you realize you've hit rock bottom. But then one day, something hits, something clicks. Either because you notice a pattern, you notice a cycle that continues to persist, and you no longer want to be part of that. You no longer want that to be your story. Or you just start noticing something something happens, and it's normally something that's dramatic, that's life-changing, life-altering. And you realize you no longer want to wear the mask that you've been wearing. And maybe there's multiple masks. You no longer want to be surrounded by people that are also wearing masks, that act like they're there for you, but you know they're really not. You want to be around people. You start to notice that you want to be around people that truly care for you and love you for you. You start to realize that you just no longer want to play the game anymore. So now you start to search for yourself, your most authentic self. And as you're searching, you're starting to venture inward. You're starting to go through that spiral and you're now heading inward. You're heading back to that center. And that center is your most authentic self. So now you're on a journey of self-discovery and reflection. And that journey, it isn't easy, but you begin to realize so many things. Some people call it the dark night of the soul. Whatever label you want to put on it, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. It's not pleasant. But once you do it, that wound can now dry up and heal, right? So it's almost like you're removing layers and layers and layers until you're what feels like naked, exposed. You're not used to it, but part of you feels relieved because you're no longer pretending. You're no longer trying to fit in. Now you're just trying to go back to who it is you've always been. And you do. You do. And so as you go inward into that spiral, all that accumulated karma starts to fall off. And now that will turns in your favor because now you can finally see. This makes me emotional. But you start to realize why you're here, what you're here for. You start to understand your purpose. To be in service to others, to help others, to clearly see that life doesn't have to be like this. Life is meant to be enjoyed. So as you get to that center, you're connected to yourself. And you realize yourself has always been there, guiding you. It's just been waiting for you to realize and take those steps to return to yourself. So you no longer feel alone. Although you may be alone, you no longer feel alone, if you know what I mean. You sense that there's a bigger force outside of you that's guiding and protecting you. And now you're no longer trying to control or manipulate things, because you have an inner wisdom that what's meant for you will not miss you. It will always be for you. You begin to attract things that align with you because you are in alignment with yourself. And it feels magical. It's like being a child again, believing in that magic, believing in the impossible. You become limitless. Things start to play in your favor. You realize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience on this playing field. And you know that there's still going to be challenges, but you can get through them. We are here to learn the lesson, grow and evolve and expand. You now have an inner peace, and that inner peace is your strength. So no matter what happens, you have that inner peace. And now that you have this knowledge, you have this wisdom, you can share it with others, because there are still a lot of people that are in the dark. So you can be that guiding light for them. Without the dark, there wouldn't be light. That darkness is what has strengthened you to return to your light. It's that duality, that balance of the two. They're both needed. So, yeah, I think that's it.